What's going on, guys? In today's video we're actually going to be doing a front grille install on Warlord, and the grille that we're going to be installing today is a custom mesh style grille designed by a company called Custom Car Grills on Instagram. They actually have a lot of variety of products on their page, which I do recommend you guys to go check them out. So basically, a little bit about the grille. The grille that we're going to be installing is basically a mesh style grille similar to the Cervini styles on the S550s. What it does basically, it puts a mesh all around the grille, all the way from left to right, and it also deletes the pony as well, for some of us that don't like the look of the pony. And basically also the other thing that it does, is it opens up both intake holes, because right now I'll show you. Right now these holes are basically mostly blocked off except for a couple little notches. So the grille that we're going to be installing actually opens up this whole thing here on both sides. Now what the new mesh front grille is going to do is basically it's going to open up these intake ports for the twin intakes that's actually on the Gen 4 Coyotes. As you can see right now, these are pretty blocked off, and same thing for the other side. So basically what the mesh grille is going to do is going to eliminate all of this and turning into a nice looking mesh grille. Now the first step in removing the front bumper, you're gonna have to remove these 8 push pins. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now the way to remove these is actually very simple. I usually use some needle nose pliers. I put it underneath like this. Let me focus under. I grab it and I use the leverage of that, well, you know, of this. And then I lift it up, wiggle it around some more. If it won't come off, try to pull it up some more, boom, and it comes off. See? And it's undamaged and everything, except for that, you know, that happened in another video. Now you do that 8 more times. Let me show you on this one. 1 more time. Underneath, grab it, pluck it out. All right, same thing with this one. Underneath, grab it, pluck it out. There you go. Now here's the thing to remember. These pins right here, they're all exactly the same size. So just make sure that you know exactly where they go. Usually what I do is I put them in a plastic bag, and with a Sharpie I write where it belongs to, and I put it close to this. So now the next step on removing this, you just lift up, and it's that easy. Now the next step on the removal process, you're gonna have to remove these 4 push pins that are along the fender liner, so you can get behind here and actually take off the plug that actually plugs into the side marker. Now when you're done removing these 4 push pins here, these are all exactly the same size. So basically same thing as the top push pins. You're gonna go ahead and put them in a plastic bag, mark them, and then set them next to, you know, somewhere you're gonna remember. Now to unplug the side marker harness, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go up here, you're gonna open this up, and you're gonna see the plug right here. Now the actual tab that you're gonna have to push down is on the other side. You're gonna press down and you're gonna pull away, and that's all you got to do. Now you move on to the next side. On this one, it's also the same thing. 4 push pins you're gonna have to remove, pull the panel back, and unplug the harness. the next step on the bumper removal is to remove all 12 of these bolts that run along the bottom of the actual bumper itself. Goes all the way down to the other side. Now after you do that, you're also going to remove the 12 bolts that actually hold the under tray and remove 2 push pin clips. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I forgot to mention, for those bolts underneath, these are all going to be 7mm, so make sure to have one handy. Usually I would use a ratchet wrench, but for this we're going to be trying out the new Milwaukee 3/8 electric ratchet. Let's do this. Now make sure whenever you're taking these off, make sure to keep them in a bag and mark them for sure, because some of these bolts are actually different sizes, so you don't want to lose one. Now that you have removed all 12 bolts from the bottom of the bumper, you're going to go ahead and remove all the 12 bolts holding the undercarriage together. And I'll show you exactly why you need to remove this in order to take the front bumper off. Alright, now the reason that I am taking off the under tray first is because now the lower grille, they actually have air ducts that go straight to your brake calipers to cool them off. Let me show you. So this is actually held onto the bumper, and you have to remove this clip on this side, and then on the passenger side there's another one as well right here. Oops, right here. So you're gonna have to remove those 2 clips, because if you don't and you pull off the bumper, this is gonna be a pain in the ass if you still have the under tray in here. Now the second reason why you take this off is because there's actually a plug you have to disconnect right up there, and that right there is actually for the grill lights on the actual front grill. So you're gonna have to remove that, these 2 clips on both sides, and after that you can go ahead and start taking off the bolts on the top side. All right, now that we did all the stuff in the bottom, we're gonna move up to the top. So now there's multiple ways to do this, but the way we're gonna start off is taking off the bolts are on this side of the bumper, and the way we're gonna do that is actually by removing these 2 bolts. Let me see if you can see them. We're gonna remove those 2 10mm bolts, and the way that I do it, I like to do it from up top because I have small wrist, and I just get a 10mm ratcheting wrench and I just take them off. But the other way to do this, if you don't have a ratcheting wrench, you're actually gonna have to go ahead and pull this back, right? You have to pull this back even more. Let's see if I can go ahead and do it. And then boom, there's your 10mm bolts right there. I do it the other way because I don't have to pull back this fender liner. So you can do it this way or you can do it the other way. It's up to you. All right, now that you have removed all 4 bolts from both sides, now here's a little tip, right? We're gonna have to remove this piece of the bumper here to go ahead and remove it backwards, right? So now, a lot of people like to do it like this. Take off these 8 bolts all along the trim, right? Now the problem with this is when you take this off, sometimes you gotta align it. Sometimes you know, these little clips can break off here. You know, let me see. They can break off. Now, there's an easier way that I don't know why anybody doesn't do it this way, but this is the easiest way you can take it off. There's 6 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You take off these 6 bolts and you have more of an area. This whole thing comes off. more of a surface area to grab onto instead of breaking these tabs or having to realign everything. So that's a little tip that I hope to see more people doing on their installation videos. Is again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now these are all going to be 10 millimeter, so make sure that you know that, and you're going to remove these 6 bolts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one back in on each corner so that it holds on and it won't come off. And you're done. Now all these bolts are exactly the same size, so just make sure to put them again in a sandwich bag, mark them where they go, and don't lose them because these are very important. All right, now that we have taken off all 6 bolts and we have left 2 in each corner, we're gonna go ahead and start removing the side bumper tabs. Now in the S550, these bumper tabs were very fragile. As soon as you take them off, they would break and everything. I do recommend, if you have a Harbor Freight near you, Northern Tools, Home Depot, Lowe's, get yourself one of these. This one right here from Harbor Freight was, I think, $7, and it's been probably the best investment I've done on this car. All right, now in order to get those bumper tabs off, what I like to do is, you see that Christmas tree clip right here in the middle? What I like to do is I go ahead and put my fingers on top of the Christmas tree and on top of the both, you know, those little guide pins there, and I like to press down just to get it pushed down a bit and get it started. Now you do the same thing on the other side. All right, so here's a little tip. Once you get this crease, you can go ahead and put the panel clip pliers in there. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and align this hole. You're gonna align it with the Christmas tree clip that's in there. And then what you're gonna do is just go like this. You're gonna press it, and it's gonna push this bumper off. Now when you get to the bottom of it, you're gonna wanna wiggle it, because that's the way you're gonna take off that Christmas clip from that side of the bumper. Now, in the instance that you don't have panel clip pliers, this is how you're supposed to take them off. You go ahead and you open up the fender liner, right? Stick your hand in there. You grab the tab, and you're gonna wanna wiggle it. And that's how you take it off without panel clip pliers. Just give it a little bit of a wiggle, left and right, and it should come off. All right, now let's go over the checklist before we take the bumper off completely. All right, make sure you've taken off both bumper tabs. Make sure you've taken off the panel plastic cover that was on there and all its clips. Make sure you've taken off 4 of those bolts, left 2 on each side, 1 and 2, so that way you can go ahead and have the bumper not fall off on you. Make sure you've taken off all over 20 under tray bolts, disconnected the brake ducts, clips, the harness that's up there as well. And if you've done all of that, you're ready to take this bumper right off. Now, if you can't have an assistant like I do, go ahead and try your best to take it off with, like, you know, by yourself. Just make sure not to let the bumper hit the ground. There's a lot of ways you can do it. I have a video I'm gonna put on here as well. I'm gonna stitch it to this, showing you how to take it off by yourself. But best case scenario is take it off with somebody. So make sure you got all those things taken off, and then you can take this off. All right, now that you have the bumper taken off completely, it's gonna look something like this. Now for the front grille removal, it's pretty simple. You're gonna go ahead and take off these 2 bolts holding on to the grille lights. You're gonna unplug this harness. You're gonna go ahead and remove all of these cable holders are actually on the grille, and we're gonna go ahead and remove this shock absorber for the, like, when you get into an accident. We're gonna remove all this, which is pretty simple. This one's just basically a bunch of tabs, you know. This, let me show you how to do it in case I don't get this on footage. You basically just push in, boom, and it lifts up. Let me show you one more time. You push in, and you lift. And you do that for every single one, like that. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and take this off. Let's try to get underneath it as best as we can. And you take it off. All right, now we remove this with the panel clip pliers. All right, so this is off. Now we go ahead and move to the next step. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and remove the shock absorber. Just like I said, you push down or you push up, depending on which clip it is, and you lift up. Same thing with this one. This one, it looks like we can just lift up straight up. Move on to this one. Go ahead and focus on there. Let's see. Press it in. We're almost there. That one's already off. So is this one. Go ahead and move on to this one. Let's go ahead and remove this one right here. And then we have to remove this one. This one's pressed down. Come on, everybody play nice. Boom. And there you have it, folks. Shock absorber is off. All right, now that we remove the shock absorber from the bumper, what we're gonna do is go ahead and disconnect these 2 bolts. These are 7mm if I'm correct. And then we're gonna go ahead around the whole upper grille and remove these right here. These plastic clips that hold on the harness for the lights. And we're gonna do the same thing on each side. All right, now that we have removed all the clips with the panel pliers, we're gonna go ahead and tackle these 2 7mm bolts. And then we do the same on the other side. go ahead and remove these. Simple as that. All right, so now you got to remove these clips here. And the way you do it is you're going to get a flathead screwdriver, right? And you're going to put it right here at the end of this tip. You're going to press in, and you're going to try to pull on it. Boom, and there you go. Then you're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to push, and you try to pull at the same time. And you're going to push, and then you're done. And then you're going to have 1, 2, 3 more to do. And then once these all are off, we're going to move on to the next step. So make sure to put these in a sandwich bag so you don't lose these. These are important. These are going to hold the grill down. All right, so now you're going to have to take off these locking tabs here. They're all throughout the grill. So you can see them here. Same here over here. Okay, so now the way you're going to take this off is basically like this, okay? You're going to grab a flathead screwdriver. You're going to push back on this tab. Oops. Yeah, push back on this tab, and then you're gonna try to press from the front up. All right, and then you're gonna move on to the next one. You're gonna press on the tab, and you're gonna try to push up. You can also do it with your finger, but that's kind of more of a pain in the ass. So I just do it with a flathead. And as you can see, these are starting to come up. So you're gonna move on to the next one. Right there. Let's see if I can do this a better way. You're gonna try your best to push up on the grill itself to get these tabs to release. And that's basically how you go ahead and take these off. Now, to give you a better insight on what the locking tabs look like, you're gonna have them everywhere. So basically, you're gonna have them here in the corner, all around the top, right? You're gonna have them all around, here in the bottom as well. And that's the only thing holding in the grill. I'll get back to you guys as soon as I'm done taking this off. All right, now that you've finally taken off every single locking tab and maybe like 50 cuts on your hands, the grill finally pops off. And there you have it, folks. That's how you remove the grill. All right, now we're gonna install the new grill. And this one right here is the Custom Car Grill's custom made mesh grill. This will be available soon. I will be dropping all the details on the manufacturer on my YouTube channel description. All right, now for the reinstallation, all you got to do is line up all these tabs all around the grill, and don't forget to put your tow hook cover cap back on. I'll show you how to take that off shortly. But yeah, just realign every single one, and then all you got to do is just start pressing in. Once you start pressing in, you're gonna hear like a little pop. Let's see if I can get one in. All right, I had to realign myself. So basically, all you're gonna do is just press in. You're gonna hear a pop. Same thing here, pop. You move on to the next ones. Press. Pressing until you hear a pop. My bad, it was hard to do this with one hand in the film. But yeah, just keep on pressing. There you go. This one's in as well. Now, one thing that really did get me was this tab here, right? If you don't center it right, it's gonna push back. And if your grill isn't going in, check these tabs right here, like these specific ones. Let's see. That tab right there, check those and make sure that they're actually going into the slits. But pretty much, yeah. Once you start popping them and they're all in, the grill is in. All right, the next step is basically putting everything back together. You're gonna take these little white clips you took off earlier, right? You're gonna put it with this piece up. I forgot what it's called. Right, and you're gonna press in, right? And now the ones that it goes to are gonna be these right here, the ones with the holes. I'll zoom in. So these tabs right here, that's where it belongs to. So again, with the little tab facing up, put it in. Tab facing up, you put it in. Now, I know this is a custom grill, but this is the exact same process, plus or minus a couple steps for the RTR grill as well. So please use this video for reference when you need to take off the grill or bumper. As you can tell, I've done this a couple times, you know, don't mind the cups. But yeah. All right, next up, you're gonna start putting back these Christmas tree clips back on. These are easy, you should just push in. You're gonna get this one, push in, and then you're gonna put the two 7mm bolts back on. All right, and that's how it should be looking. All right, after you make sure that all the clips are clipped in right, this is what your final product would look like. I gotta say, this mesh grill looks sick. Like I actually like it so much better than the OEM one. Now, for the most important step, you're gonna get your tow hook cover, right? You're gonna line it up. Let's see how this works. Sorry, my iPhone said storage full, but basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna line up this little spear looking thing. You're gonna line it up right there, right? And then you're gonna go ahead and try to put it right here in front. Let's see if we can line up all the clips. All right, you're gonna line up all the clips, and then you press in, and boom, and there it is. The grill install is pretty much all done. Now, the fun part, reassembling the car. All right, once you get the bumper back on and everything's clipped in inside the grill, this is what it should look like. Now, the perfect thing about removing it the way that I did, right? With these, instead of taking off these 8 bolts, is that these corners, right? These corners right here, they have little clips, right? That basically hold the bumper for you every single time, instead of having to worry about these plastic ones and having to realign everything. Everything goes back the same way that it was, and it always ends up looking perfect. The bumper's not fully bolted on yet, but basically put the bumper back on, just everything you did in reverse. But I gotta say though, just look at this front grille, man. It's different, you know. This is like very, very similar to the Cervini style. And honestly, you guys should really, really hit up the guy that makes these. I don't know what the ETA is yet for this front grille to be done and shipped out to everybody else, but man, it really does change the look a lot. But yeah, I'll go ahead and finish up bolting everything up. And if you guys like the grill, please follow Custom Car Grill's Instagram right here. And make sure to hit him up and tell him Warlord sent you. All right, step one of putting the bumper back together is gonna be to put this in and then press up. Same thing with the other side. Now on the bottom, you just gotta make sure that you go ahead and put the clips back onto the brake ducts on both sides. And then up here, make sure to plug that in. You'll see right there, that wiring harness back in. Don't forget to do all that. And after all that's done, you can go ahead and start putting the under tray back on and bolting everything back on in the bottom. All right, now that we did the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and move up to the front. So now we're gonna use these silver bolts, and it's gonna be 2 on each side. All right, now that the both bolts for the bumper tabs are back on, now you're gonna go ahead and do the 6 bolts. Now the good thing about this is they're still aligned, so your bumper should go back in place just like normal. Let me go ahead and button that up. All right, now all you got to do is reconnect the side marker harness. Don't forget to do that because I've forgotten to do it a couple times. But basically, I don't know if you can see in there. Yeah, just basically plug it back in. That's all you got to do. All right, that's in. And then you would do the other side, and we're almost done. Okay, now for the finishing touches, you're gonna put the Mustang radiator cover back on. This just lays down like this, and then you use your clips, and you go one by one. And after that, you're all done.